Are you
I
we okay, go ahead.
I wanted to go back to something really fast because I'm so fascinated by the music industry as a whole in comparison to what it was
Mm,
when you first started and what it is now. You, especially since you have a child that's in
mhm,
the industry, you mentioned that people now are just thrown into stardom
mhm.
and you had to work your way up to it. Isn't that everyone now? The record labels don't work
Oh,
on
it's
groups or people. It's completely different now.
I would hate to be starting now. I'm so thankful that I'm at this point in my career because, look, there are people who are being very creative and saying money doesn't matter to me. Well, it'll matter when you don't have money for the rent. So I remember somebody saying to me, "I just want to be happy. I don't need money." I said, "Well, that's good until you need money." So nowadays, it's a very different world. The record companies used to nurture artists. They would sign you, and you'd have 3 albums where they would kind of coax you and help you to achieve, what your potential was. Nowadays, you know, it's all about bean counters and bottom lines, and if the algorithms or whatever they're looking at don't work for that one song you put out, see ya. So You never knocked heads with the label? I've heard I have friends with other artists who've, released a song or, recorded a song, and then the label goes, go back in. I don't like that." And you always hear stories about the record label saying, "No, this is not the single. This mm, is not the single." And then it turns out that that single is what did you have that? I may not have always been the easiest person to get along with, and, I'm again, I've never been great at being told what to do, and I don't that doesn't sit well with me, particularly at this point because, there's enough people at record companies who were in kindergarten, when I had my first platinum album. So, uh, I do remember at one point, we had a song called "Forever," which was a big, big hit, and I remember going into the head of A&R at, the record label, and he was telling me, "Well, you need to go back in and change the ending, you know, it should fade out on the chorus and this and that." And I'm looking at this guy like, "Schmuck, I I was doing this when you were in grade school," you know? Um, And you were well, right. it became yes. And, look, I can be wrong too, but I'd rather be wrong of my own volition.